Sometimes we forget why we're here. It's easy to fall off track. These help us remember.
These battle scars don't look like they're faded, don't look like they're ever gone away. They ain't never gonna change. These battles.
Growing up I had a dream, something no one else could see. Tell me what it means when your faith is falling beneath your knees and you can't breathe. Everything you see reminds you of what you're not or something you won't be. You gotta take what you're given, that's how we live it. Don't be mad at the system, it's simply how we've existed. I hear a lot of people talking like they politicians and choose to be an accountant because it's safe in a business. Not because they wanna do it, just because they heard it pays. And who the fuck wants to be poor knowing that's how we've been raised? Society is getting heavy, I can feel the weight. The pressure of success is like 100 million pounds of shame. And that's the reason I'm staying up late, trying to find a way to escape the stereotypes this day and age is making me feel like the only way I'll be happy is getting signed to a label and making money through rapping. I wanna share my emotion because this world is attacking the very principle of life that lets the people be happy. If you don't have a reason to breathe, why even live? These battle scars are impressions of everything that it is.
Don't look like they're faded, don't look like they're ever gone away. They ain't never gonna change. These battle scars don't look like they're faded, don't look like they're ever gone away. They ain't never gonna change. These battles.
Now, if I had a voice that reached 100 million people, I'd tell them there's a reason that we're all created equal. Cause some decide to be great and some decide a sequel to an average person's life is simply what they want to be. So you make your decision, all I know is what I'm given. Won't define the life I lead or the way I dwell in existence. I've seen a greater image on the walls of where I'm living, and the words twisted and scripted remind me of something written. Faith is a gift that is given down to the people. If one believes it, one receives it. It's given if it is needed. Don't ever think you're trapped in a life that you never wanted. Your options are infinite, that's some mathematical logic. I'm not saying I'm a prophet, I'm speaking for what it's worth. These lyrics define my prayers and these battle scars on my church. Not saying I'm a prophet, I'm speaking for what it's worth. These lyrics define my prayers, these battle scars on my church.
Don't look like they're faded, don't look like they're ever gone away. They ain't never gonna change. These battle scars don't look like they're faded, don't look like they're ever gone away. They ain't never gonna change. These battles.
Oh God, I still have the crazy hair. And yes, I do have my fur jacket on. That is one great thing about Colorado is these denim jackets that are fur lined. Like, eat your heart out, Florida. Like, I love Florida, but you don't have these badass jackets. I'm still cold. It was snowing in Michigan when I left. Ooh. I still have the cough, but I do have both fingernails polished, which is a good sign. So I figured I would do another live stream because I told you I was going to keep you updated on what was going on in Michigan, and we've got some really good news. But before then, I want to play for you a video. I have a friend in Colorado, Jessica Fensky, but she goes by Forest Mommy on YouTube, not YouTube, Twitter. You need to follow her because her content is great. And she made the funniest video that she won't put on YouTube because she doesn't have a YouTube channel. So I decided I'm going to stick it on my channel because you guys gotta watch this. It is so freaking hilarious. So hopefully I'll be able to get the sound to work. I am back in my studio, as you can see. So on my full-size computer where I see your comments over here. So hopefully everything will be good. So let me see if I got her video up. I thought I did. Oh, here's the link. Let me click on the link. And let me start at the beginning. And I want you to watch this video. It is so hilarious. Give Forest Mommy some love. She's one of the best accounts you can follow on YouTube. So let's share here, and then I'll tell you So you should be seeing my Twitter account, and you should be seeing Forest Mommy. So let's watch this video, but let me put it on mute on my end so you don't get an echo. This video is so hilarious, and some snowflake unfollowed her over it, which is just really hilarious. Oh, damn it. I put it up. Why isn't it coming up? Let's see if you hear it now. Let me know if, hold on. Let me go back to my main screen. I'm not used to it. Yep. Okay. Now why isn't it coming up? Let me try again. You should be hearing this. You don't even need to see it as long as you hear it. But you should be. No, I don't see any sound. Hold on. Okay, it was muted. Let's go back to the beginning. Here we go.
Do you remember last week how like a handful of girls were fully dressed and line dancing to a rap song and people were like, whores? They just like instantly thought they were all whores. All of them. They were in their mind thinking about these girls getting their backs blown out all night, every night by different men, but the women were whores for it. But I understand. We understand how men work. You do think sexy things from even the most benign, not sexy things. But you don't say it out loud, usually, you know. But that's a separate point. Because I want you men to know. I want you men to know there's a behavior you do. That you guys do. That makes women, it makes us.
It seems to be like stuttering. Let me start it again. I think I closed. Let me close all of my other tabs. Let's try starting this again. It's a great video. I'll post a link if you can't hear it properly, but this is such a great video.
Do you remember last week how like a handful of girls were fully dressed and line dancing to a rap song and people were like, whores? They just like instantly thought they were all whores. All of them. They were in their mind thinking about these girls getting their backs blown out all night, every night by different men, but the women were whores for it. But I understand. We understand how men work. You do think sexy things from even the most benign, not sexy things. But you don't say it out loud, usually, you know. But that's a separate point. Because I want you men to know. I want you men to know there's a behavior you do. That you guys do. That makes women, it makes us instantly think you're whores for it. You know, because it's so hot. It's really hot. So that's the problem. When you do like kind of hot things, everyone thinks you're a fucking whore. And you want to know what that behavior is from men? It's being blue collar and being able to fix things. I see you filthy fucks in your trucks, with your dirty hats, and your strong arms, driving around fixing things, providing for your family. You whores. You absolute fucking whores.
So it sounded kind of stuttery on my end, but let me go back to my camera. But basically, she was talking about this video. It was a really innocent video of women line dancing, and they were fully dressed. And all of these like tradcon men were calling them whores and just all kinds of names. So Forest Mommy did this video and goes, you want to know what? I get it. You men, you think sexual thoughts. You're thinking about these women who are just having fun, getting their backs blown out every single night. But you guys, you don't realize you're whores and you're filthy fucking trucks fixing things. It's so hot. Providing for your families. You whores. You blue collar whores fixing plumbing. It was awesome. It was awesome. And the amount of men that posted pictures in that thread of them doing the type of work that requires, now I'm getting hot in this cool sweater, that, and it's not just because maybe it's talking about the sexy blue collar whores, that cause society to run. This woman, to you blue collar whores, I salute you. You keep society running. And I thought that was such a great, great video by Forest Mommy. But let's talk about Michigan. We're going to be talking about Michigan a lot lately. So I told you there might be 4 appeals filed now. I haven't kept track. I know there's at least 3. One of them has been ruled on already. And it came out exactly as I thought it did, because these are bad faith agents of chaos. People who purposely do not respect bylaws should deserve no sympathy or respect from you. I don't care if you don't like the current LNC. Go ahead. But one thing all libertarians should be united on is that we have to follow our bylaws. So I'm going to read this Judicial Committee decision. I'm not going to read until they publish it. I got it from a friend of mine. I got it from the friend of mine that filed the appeal because they were given a copy of the decision. But I'm not going to name who co-signed it or who authored it because I don't want these people to get harassed. But one thing I'll tell you, and I wonder if Dave Canny will apologize, none of them were me. I have not filed a single appeal in Michigan. I am way too busy for that, but I am a member of Michigan. I have a right to do so, but I seriously doubt I'm going to file any kind of appeal. I'm just way too busy. But let's read the appeal. And what this appeal is on, the obvious illegal emotion at a special convention to try to say, no, you're not the real board. It's this fake board that we elected at a fraudulent convention. But let me tell you something. The very fact that these people participated at a convention called by a board that they think is illegitimate, I'm sorry, I think they just conceded the lawsuit. I think they just conceded it. I think they made a big mistake. Now, I don't know whether lawyers will agree with me. I haven't discussed this with anybody. This is my personal opinion. I think they just screwed the pooch, and I really doubt that they talked to their attorney about this. But let me read the JC opinion about this alleged fake motion. And I know dementia-ridden George Phillies has claimed, I talked to somebody who authored the bylaws and they say it's not a special convention. Well, you want to know what? I talked to the chair of the party at that time and she says it was. But here's the fact. It doesn't matter what the intent was unless the bylaw is ambiguous. And the bylaw about regular conventions is not ambiguous. It says that regular conventions are when officers are elected. Officers are elected for 2-year terms. Ergo, regular conventions are every 2 years. If these fraudsters believed this was a regular convention, and I didn't pull the screenshot. The packet, everything about it said special convention. It was a special convention. But if they really believed it was a regular convention, which they did not, they would have actual elections of all positions. And they did not. They don't believe this because they are liars. So, I'm going to omit some names here because I'm going to save people from harassment. These names will eventually be out when it's published to the general public. I got a copy of it from a friend of mine. Be mad that a friend sent it to me. It wasn't anybody that sent it to me that is on the board of LPMI or the Judicial Committee. It was actually the person who filed the appeal who sent me a copy of it. So cry harder as far as I'm concerned. So let me read the opinion to you. I'm reading it to you because I am going to omit some names. On March 9th, 2024, and we're just going to put X for names, X submitted an appeal to the Judicial Committee. Other members subsequently emailed the JC indicating their desire to be included as concurring signatories. And then there's a group of 5 names. I'm not going to read them. X and the other appellants alleged that a motion passed at the March 9th LPMI National Delegate Nominating Convention violated the Libertarian Party of Michigan bylaws by improperly removing and replacing duly elected members of the LPMI Executive Committee. If libertarians don't care about bylaws, you are not a libertarian, because libertarians care about contracts. It is the foundation of libertarianism. But let's continue. The appellant argues that since this session was a special convention, any business not included in the original call to convention must be declared to be null and void due to lack of notice. Notice, and now it's my commentary. Notice is sacrosanct. You can't violate notice. There's no oopsie. Sorry, Jim Fulner. There's no oopsie. You violate notice, you're done. On March 10th, the Judicial Committee convened to consider X's appeal on the requested remedy. Since the previous JC ruling of December 19th, 2019, we have yet to see no reason to revisit those issues. A special convention, therefore, still requires sufficient notice of business items. Additionally, we find X's assertion that the March 9th convention was a special convention to be a correct interpretation of the bylaws, and they're absolutely correct here. Therefore, the Judicial Committee voted to uphold X's remedy. We declare the March 9th motion to replace the Executive Committee to be null and void, and it was a unanimous decision of the Executive Committee. So, just as I said, they already had a ruling on this. This is just political theater. They made a motion they knew was illegal. How do you feel about being used as pawns in political theater? I think you should feel like shit about that. I think you should feel that people who do that are terrible people, and I am going to continue to expose them. I was silent for so long, but I am silent no more, and I will name names. Dana Carver, I do not give a shit if you are upset that I am giving my opinion. I used to consider you a friend. You started shit-talking me before even talking to me personally. That means you are a person of no ethics. You are dead to me. I hope you never speak to me again. Whenever I have a problem with somebody, I've talked to them personally first, because that is what people of ethics do. And if you think this motion was valid, you need to do the honorable thing and resign from the valid board. You think you're some kind of hero? You are not. You are an agent of chaos. Your arguments are incoherent and violate member rights, and you ought to be thoroughly ashamed of yourself. And all I can say is, maybe this is time for me to do a self-reflection on the fact that so many people that I once thought were friends turned out to be the worst actors. I am so naive and self-trusting that is a flaw that I need to deal with. But all you need to know about is that alleged motion was ruled out of order. But of course, these folks don't obey the bylaws, so they won't care. There's more to come. I'm just waiting, like the normal person should do, for the Judicial Committee decisions on the remaining appeals. There's at least 2 more. There might be 3. I've lost track because, again, I haven't filed any of them. I'm going to give it a couple minutes for comments, and honestly, I'm super tired. I literally just flew in from Detroit. Those of you who know, most people are very surprised at this because I fly so often. I am terrified of flying. I get volumed up to the maximum to be able to fly. So if I seem a little loopy, that's why. I'm hopped up on Valium, but I think I'm pretty energetic because actually it wore off about an hour before the flight ended. And I was so freaked out because I was completely conscious for the landing. Traumatizing to me. I have the worst phobia of flying. So I am taking a look at comments. I am looking forward to comments. Please shove them in chat. Let's give it a minute. In the meantime, I'm going to brush this unruly hair. My hair has been so crazy lately. Those of you who've been watching my videos for a while, you can see how long it is. I like keeping it to here. It's like, what, 4 inches longer than I like it? And while I'm waiting to see if there's any comments, please subscribe to this channel. Let me do my YouTube stuff now that I'm back in the studio. Here you go. Subscribe, like, share, dislike, I don't care. It's all engagement to me. Also, you can follow me on Twitter, Karen Ann Harlos on Twitter. I would really appreciate it. And last but certainly not least, and I do have a new subscriber. I don't have the name in front of me to recognize them, but I will do it next show. Please support me on Patreon. This type of comment is very, very niche. So Pink Flame of Liberty, no, you can tell I'm still hopped up. Patreon.com/Pink Flame of Liberty. And I think this Friday is going to be a show with Hannah Goodman, myself, and Angela McCardle. Let me scroll through comments, but I don't think there's been anything else. But just so you know, a JC decision has been issued. Okay, that seems to be about it. I will see you all tomorrow, most likely. Who knows? God willing, mi guapas de libertad. Oh, Chuck Moulton, do you think there will be 2 Michigan slates of delegates? No, I do not. But there could be. But if you're asking my opinion at this moment in time, I reserve the right to change my opinion. I don't think there will be. But further appeals can deal with that. I don't know. Stuff Bud Does says, is it legit for an agendum item to be and any other business that comes before the board? No, not at a special meeting. At a regular meeting, yes. You do not have to give prior notice at a regular convention or a regular meeting. However, the vote threshold can change at a regular meeting depending upon whether or not you gave prior notice. But at a special meeting, the only items that can be considered are those given previous notice. I hope that answered your question. Can you let me know? I'll give a few more minutes because getting ready to sign off. But then I got a couple questions. But to answer further Chuck's question, I think it's very possible there might be a couple disputed delegates, but I'm not sure. It is potentially possible that the entire slate will be challenged. I can tell you that I'm personally not planning on challenging anybody at this convention. Rumors to the contrary notwithstanding. I can't say what other people are going to do. I know there are some other appeals that are being planned that might affect the delegates. It's all going to depend upon what the Judicial Committee decides and ultimately what the convention decides. There were a lot of problems at this convention. I was there. There were notice requirements. There were vote threshold requirements. As I said in another video, and this is something. This is the most ill-behaved convention I've ever attended. Chuck asked, what other state conventions am I planning on attending? It's only 3 more. Colorado, obviously. But I have no role at the Colorado convention. This is the first time, I think, since I've been in the party, except for the first year, that I've had no role. I'm just a delegate. Why is that? I was asked to be convention parliamentarian. I turned it down. Why? Because I'm chair of the Judicial Committee, and we can be called into session during convention regarding certain limited items, and I felt it would be a conflict of interest. So I am just a member and the chair of the JC for the Colorado Convention. I believe I am going to be the convention parliamentarian at Minnesota, and that is April 21st. I am attending just as a guest at the April, I think it's the weekend beginning the 9th of the Texas Convention. Some members might retain me as parliamentarian, but I am definitely not the convention parliamentarian. Thank you so much for asking, and that is going to be it for conventions. I can't get any more time off from work. That is it. So let me give it a few more moments for questions, but I seriously do appreciate those conventions, and thank you, Bud Does, that I answered your question. That basically is Roberts 101, that at a special meeting, the only items can be considered are the ones that are specially noticed. Now, some people have said it's not clear that this was a special convention. I don't have Discord on here, but every publication says special delegate nominating convention. But besides that, their bylaws say at every regular convention, officers will be elected for a 2-year term. What does that mean? It means regular conventions are every 2 years. And it's odd number years. What year is this? 2024? 4? I don't think that's an odd number year. Okay. Give it a couple more minutes here. Let me take this off the screen. I am sorry. I'm very hoarse. I'm still sick. My doctor actually recommended a second course of antibiotics, so on my second course of Z-Pak. If that does not clear up my cough, I'm going to have to go for more intensive treatment, unfortunately. So no, I am not at my best. And one way to demonstrate that is that I drank very little at this convention. Okay, that will be it. We will continue. Oh, by the way, Matt Walsh, my favorite subject, he did a show on the failure of hard drug, or at least small quantity, hard drug decriminalization in Oregon. I think we need to talk about that because he's considered it a failure of libertarianism. I make no bones about this, and people get mad at me, but we're going to have a full show on it. I don't oppose decriminalization, but I do not believe that's the libertarian position. So many people argue that legalization is not the libertarian position. Decriminalization is a good baby step, but the libertarian position is legalization, and we will talk about that in a future show. I am absolutely losing my voice. I did too many live streams while not feeling well. So I hope everyone has an awesome night. I do plan on streaming tomorrow. I do plan on sending out some additional clips from the Michael Knowles commentary I did a few days ago. It's not all going to be about Michigan in the next couple weeks. I have some James Lindsay stuff to do, some Michael Knowles, some Matt Walsh. So I will see you soon. I am exhausted, and now I'm going to go to bed. Mi guapas de libertad.
You gotta take what you're given, that's how we live it. Don't be mad at the system, it's simply how we've existed. I hear a lot of people talking like they politicians, or choose to be an accountant because it's safe in the business.